This is the iBuyer Experiment Podcast, how technology is changing real estate, with your hosts, Kayla Leos, Jason Leos, Keith Howard, and Elliot Tomaszewski. Please consider subscribing so you're notified when we launch a new podcast. Let's go.
All right, we are rolling and we are live. Jay, I know you said some hot stuff to kick off our awesome show we got.
Yeah, I guess I'm kicking it off. So
Yep.
What I wanted to talk about is the Opendoor and OfferPad now are hiring agents. They've started a brokerage, right?
Yeah.
When is Zillow going to start? You know, they had. I remember months ago, or it may have been a year ago, when they had to open up a brokerage in Arizona, and everyone was freaking out. They're like,
Oh,
Zillow's opening a brokerage, and
we're not going to sell.
And they said, no, it's because the Department of Real Estate said that because we're buying homes, we have to get a broker's license, and they said, no, we're not doing that at all. But I think it's coming, guys.
I couldn't agree more. How much has Zillow lied along the way? Remember, like when you just let's just tell the truth and call them out. It is what it is. These guys have lied the whole stinking way, and they are taking over.
Is it lying or is it just adapting?
I think it's just adapting. I think
it's adapting.
I mean, but
I
think,
don't know.
I don't think that they had a
Rich Barton's
long-term,
pretty
like,
smart.
This is what it's
they
gonna be.
They got some pretty smart leadership. I think they
Maybe
played
they
some
did.
chess.
I think they just saw an opportunity and took it. But that is a great question. So I saw the Opendoor job announcement that we're hiring realtors now. And did I just say realtor? I'm sorry, guys. Realtors.
Realtors.
Sorry.
Realtors.
I totally just
Come on,
went-
you are a
Shut
national.
up,
You are a
I know.
member of the National Association of Realtors. You should know how to
Realtors.
say it.
I do. I just slipped. Yeah, I saw the job description, and they are definitely hiring independent contractors, agents. They're saying, come do your business at Opendoor and have access to our seller leads. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. I mean, talk about a business model change, you know, from the whole iBuyer frenzy. All
Well, they're
the
gonna have to be
agents.
careful because they still have a lot of income coming from their lead revenue. So
Well, it's insane. So let's backtrack that real quick because that was to your point, and I think why they have played the game of chess, because their massive lead revenue was coming from agents. Then they came out and made those crazy predictions, and that they actually, because of the major iBuyers, Zillow is the only one that's publicly traded. Right, so they came out and made their announcement and said, "Hey, by moving into iBuyer and taking all these funds, we're going to." I don't even remember what the numbers were like. Basically, like quintuple what their profits were. Like it was this insane, change from this. The numbers. Like I said, I don't remember exactly what they were. But when you look at that, like I know here locally, agents were bidding on basically to get that account. Who was going to pay that for those leads and those types of things. And so I know that they were making a crazy amount of revenue off of agents being sold some of the iBuyer leads, right? Their iBuyer turndowns and things like that. So,
So is Zillow next? What do you think, Keith?
Well, I'll take some words out of people that I've talked with at Zillow. They want to be the guy in the room. So whatever that looks like, whether that's hiring agents or coming up with something they feel would, battle Opendoor and OfferPad in regards to them trying to utilize agents. I think they're going this route, especially with the whole craziness that we went through from a national level, even with
pandemic,
real estate.
yeah.
For 90 days, there was just so much uncertainty, and they're like, oh man, wow, nobody expected this to happen, and their business model didn't work that well in that market because of money being frozen. So they're smart. They're like, okay, well, if our original acceptance rate was potentially that 5 to 10% of sellers directly taking their offers, they want. I think they're starting to realize, well, maybe we should try to utilize getting that other 80 to 90%. And how do you do that? Through agents.
no.
Well,
what is the Zillow percentage right now that they're taking from agents? Don't they have
They're doing their
that program?
flex. I think
The
it's
flex?
called
That's
the
the
flex.
flex.
Is it
program.
30% or are they taking 30%?
I don't remember what
On
the
the
exact
leads?
number is, but I think it is 30%. I actually think that it's more than 30% for like, because they actually have like a warm transfer program where they actually cultivate the lead and they'll hand them off to you. And that,
So-
I think those are more than 30%.
I mean, I know a lot of brokerages that are taking 50%
Yep.
on company-generated leads, especially like a decent lead, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
If an agent works exclusively with the Flex program with Zillow, it might actually benefit that agent to just work directly at Zillow
Correct.
if they did
Or
open a brokerage.
they make them work at Zillow.
Well, and
I mean, they really already have agents, because really, if those agents that are killing it with Zillow leads,
right.
it would be
They're extension.
it would be easy to get those people to just go jump, right? Be like,
Right.
hey, we're gonna stop.
Hey,
We're
we'll
gonna stop
feed you
giving
more.
you leads now. We'll feed you more if you come over to
Yep.
Zillow and become. an
Well,
agent
I
of
think
Zillow.
that's what all this is about, right? So let's take a step back to when we all started this journey with Offervana, if I can even say that. But
You cannot say that because OfferPad might be listening.
And they own that
And
word.
they own the name.
it.
They made it
Own
famous. Nobody had ever heard of that word in the real estate
Yeah.
industry before.
So
I'm sorry, I'm just a little bitter because, as you may or may not know, OfferPad sued us when we started
Mm-hmm.
our first company, OfferVana, and we had to pivot big time. But yeah,
it's going to
it
work
was-
out well for you agents out there.
It sure will.
So Mike Del Prete, remember he used to say, make no bones about this. This is not about the iBuy business or buying houses. This is about the lead business.
The lead business. Yep, absolutely.
And
whoever
he-
gets the lead first.
I think this
So-
is a play that this is actually proving that statement is accurate.
Okay, so I'm going to just defend Opendoor a bit for a couple reasons.
Okay.
For one reason, I don't necessarily think that they look at it as about the lead. I really don't. I think that they really wanted to change the way real estate is sold. I think that you had a young tech entrepreneur who said, you know what, there are massive problems in the real estate industry and we can solve this through technology. And I really believe that. And I think that the disenfranchised nature of real estate in general kind of leads to kind of transactional chaos again and again. And so I don't think that Eric started Opendoor to get seller leads. I don't. I think he started Opendoor
I
because
don't either.
I don't
he
believe they
wanted
either.
to
But I
change-
do believe they've pivoted some because they're
absolutely.
like, well, this is
well, they have
Well, they have
to.
investors to answer to,
Yeah,
right? Like, I mean,
exactly.
so that's, I'm going to dive into that in a second. I told you guys at least for me, I can only speak for myself. It blew my mind when I found this data out. And again, this is just what's out available in MLS and monsoon tax records, for us to view. But Opendoor says that they're recruiting agents for their home reserve program, right? So, and which is similar to like the Trade-In Plus, things of that nature that we're bringing to the marketplace. But yet, when you do think about it, right, your job as a good entrepreneur is and let's even go further and say a CEO of a company that I think their employee count is around 1,000 now, right after their huge layoff, give or take, is how do we monetize every opportunity? Right. And with the reality of it is based on the data that I'm about to share locally, and we're one of the top 3 hottest markets in the entire nation, and the amount of leads that they must still be getting to pull in the amount of stuff that's going on is mind-boggling to me. Right. So if you can monetize the fact that these home sellers, home buyers are raising their hand to have you buy their house in cash for them or buy my house from me so I don't have to go through all the broken things in real estate, just clearly still willing to do it.
All right, give it to us. What's the data?
Well, just real quick on that, I'm in 100% agreement with you on that, and just from my personal experience, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole of each experience from different institutional buyers, but specifically, since we're on the Opendoor topic, they're fantastic to work with.
Talk about their new platform. It's freaking badass.
Well, I didn't want to go down that rabbit
So
hole,
do you
but what
think-
I'm getting at is every person that I've ever worked with, whether it was just the day-to-day person handling the contract or like a Tyler Hickson, more higher level internally, they
good.
do care.
They are good.
But because of, OfferPad coming in the game, Zillow and all these other little companies that do hundreds of transactions per year that could fall in the iBuyer category, it has become a lead business, a lead game now. And I think that's what it's turning into, but I don't think that was their original. I still don't think that's their intention, but
So do you
yeah,
think
it's a
so do
lead
you think
game.
because they're going to be recruiting agents now that they're going to stop working with outside agents that are in different brokerages?
I don't know. I guess time will tell, right? I think
Well,
time will tell. Well, now
I
that's a
think-
great question.
I think it's interesting that they're recruiting agents because they do care about their quality control. And once you hire a bunch of independent contractors, we all know what's going to happen to quality control.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the fact
Right.
that they're saying, oh, you can maintain your own book of business, but come in and work our leads.
Elliot and I had actually talked with Tyler many years ago and said, "Hey, what are you guys doing with your leads
downs.
that
Yeah,
they
we
don't
saw the
that
writing.
they don't take the offer?" He's like, "Yeah, we thought about teaming up with some people, and clearly we know they did because of the dual signs."
Yeah.
But Tyler specifically mentioned that they were going to be very, very careful who they worked with because at the end of the day, it was going to be their name on the line,
Reputation,
and they didn't want their reputation to be ruined by an independent agent who maybe didn't care.
Absolutely. And what I know about the agents that chase leads generally aren't the agents that are building solid books of business themselves. I mean, hate
Yep.
to say it, but the agent that's going to jump ship to get leads is probably not the best
Absolutely.
agent. Is that right?
Because those agents know how to they then know how to get their own leads, so they're generating their own.
Absolutely. But I think again, the reason why we're all even sitting in this room is more technology, more venture money. It comes into the space of real estate, the ease of transaction, the fluidity of the end-to-end process, the pressure on lowering the fees, those types of things. Because again, that's quick. And I was just talking to a friend of mine just yesterday, in the mortgage business, Phil Hills. I've literally known him since high school, and he's been in the mortgage game for about 20 years, ever since we were out of high school. And he is a mortgage broker, and he's working directly with Quicken, and they opened up their Rocket Mortgage. That was an internal product. They, about 4 or 5 months ago, they opened it up to mortgage brokers, and he said that they are killing it with that, like the company. That whole theory is, get this, it's definitely he said it was like an eighth of a percent of the people, or I don't remember exactly what the percentage was, but a very low case study comes in. They're approved in 1.5 minutes in a Rocket Mortgage situation because they're hooked up to the company, right? And they're going to expand this concept. So basically, Keith works at Amazon. We know his position title. All this information comes in, and so now you're not turning in documentation. They're not even running credit. All these types of things. And we're talking about a purchase, not a refinance. So it's just like there's a lot of these types of things I think that are going to continue to come into the space, and it's change. And the more technology.
But this is the iBuyer experiment, not the mortgage experiment.
I'm talking about technology in general, though, right? Like we're going to continue seeing these types of environments coming into place that are
Absolutely.
putting pressure on the commission,
Well, and
putting
you're
pressure
saying
on
that-
title company fees, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah, and you're saying that basically it's good to work with outside and to bring a product that's working
Oh,
to the masses
Yep.
by using other mortgage brokers, just like Opendoor. They have a product, bring it to the masses. Like let all agents use it.
Well, the market is hot. We all know that, and it's still hot, very hot. The Phoenix market is as well. And I know that Rich Barton said that the reason the market is so hot was because of the reshuffling of America. And one of the prominent realtors in town, Russell Shaw, posted in the Arizona Real Estate Forum that basically that was BS. The reason why the market is so hot is because historically low interest rates.
cost of money.
What's
Right.
going on with mortgage applications?
Yeah,
Keith?
I just I like to come up with the most recent cool facts that I think most of us kind of know in the industry, but when you actually read it, it's just like, wow. So mortgage applications for people who are wanting to apply for a new mortgage is up 33% compared to
God.
last year.
33%.
33%, and
This is nationally, or is this just?
nationally. This is off of
third of an increase.
the Realtor Daily News magazine online, and applications for refis are up 34%.
That doesn't surprise
It's
me.
because of the rates.
Yeah, cost of money.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of clearly a supposed pandemic that's happening right now, people want to take advantage of lower interest rates, which they can get more of a house for less, and people are taking advantage of that. And probably too, we made a joke about it a couple podcasts ago, but when you're cooped up in your house for 90 days, all of a sudden you're like, you know what, maybe I don't like this place anymore. I actually haven't really spent that much time here.
Yeah. That's what happened to us. Yeah. 2 months later.
Time to remodel.
And the cool part is, they say right here, mortgage rates fell again on an average, and we know there's some better, because it's the average, is 2.91%. So if you have your people with your decent median credit scores that are getting your 3.1 to 3.3, and then you have other people that are getting 2.6 to 2.7%. So that
but is that volatile, right? I mean, what if they change that? Did the brakes, is the e-brake pulled, and all of a sudden these moratoriums and rent hikes and the rent eviction forbearance, and all these different things that are going on out there when those come around?
Well, per some other studies, with homes going under contract in record time, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who this is, but whoever they interviewed, his last name is Yun. Their prediction is that interest rates are not going anywhere at minimum till the end of 2021.
Makes
and
sense
then
to me.
that there's
2021?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the NAR chief economist.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
and then that if things keep going on with potential COVID and making sure that the economy stays as strong as possible, that we don't let it crumble, that the rates might even go even lower here before too long again.
That's insane.
So
It's
they're
borderline free.
Could we hit the ones?
Yeah.
Could interest rates hit 1%?
It says right here that there is a annual increase of 15.5% homes pending sales over last year. Wow. And that's a national statistic. And that he thinks that the home sales will reach 5.4 million this year, which is a 1.1 increase from 2019. And by 2021, he anticipates a 3.2% increase, which will be an additional 1.43 million homes sold from a potential 5.4 million by the end of 2021.
So if you're out there listening, buy a freaking house.
And the main reason this is relevant is because with technology coming in, even with all this hotness on the market and low interest rates, people are still going to want quality programs. They want people who have the most recent technology to make their transaction as smooth as possible. And so, these technology companies are only going to continue to grow. They ain't going anywhere. And clearly home sales aren't going anywhere for a while.
Yeah, I mean, supply and demand, right? I mean, with cost of money being as low as it is, again, it's not quantum physics here, in the fact of, hey, yes, prices have spiked, 20, 30 grand, but 360 payments at a payment that is, half the interest rate of what it once was. The house is still effectively cheaper in that circumstance. So that's the unique thing. The only other thing I would say about what you said, I'm really curious about what's going to happen is, all these bailouts and everything else keep infusing money in the market, and that's obviously going to cause inflation. But I mean, at the same time, inflation sometimes can be a low interest rates friend in that circumstance for people that are going to stay. So, again, I'm curious to know what.
Just keep pumping money into the market, baby.
I know.
Let that bubble get bigger and bigger. It ain't ever going to pop.
Monopoly.
Let's get it to 100 trillion.
Well, I think what concerns me is just the lack of inventory and watching prices increase.
Right.
I know that a statistic that I have that I want to share is kind of crazy. Here we go. So in 2019, here in the Phoenix market, sellers had an appreciation rate of 3.89%.
What year?
2019. So
19.
last year, sellers had almost 4% appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Today, they have 14.3% appreciation.
That was 2019?
Yeah.
Or 2020?
2020.
So
So
2020,
far.
so far the market
It's not
spiked
even-
14%.
So
It's not even over.
I am super concerned about our
Yep.
prices and
Me too.
affordability.
Me
And
too.
where do we take our first-time home buyers?
Lawrence.
And
You can't even live in
Casa Grande.
Chandler for less than
Maricopa.
$200 a square foot pretty much anymore.
It
That's
is-
or Gilbert. It's
crazy.
Your starting price is $200 a foot, give or take, right? I mean, it's just it's silly.
It is
silly.
Definitely crazy.
So, ironically, I'll dovetail off of what you said with this data, because this is, I got to tell you, this was very surprising to me, because I started thinking about, hey, you know, what's something I wanted to address today in the podcast. And let's take a look and see how well the iBuyers are doing. Well, you know, we all know that Opendoor came in with a lot of inventory, and they were actually able to unload a lot of the inventory. And these are actual closed. I'm not talking.
They're probably kicking themselves.
They probably should have held off on it,
right?
Well, but here's the deal. This is all per ARMLS. They have 1,461 closed transactions to date. Now that's certainly lower than 2019, but still almost 1,500 closed transactions year to date. They closed 50 transactions this particular month. Currently, they have they own 149 houses. They have 30 active. They have 67 under contract, so they have about 50 that's in their backlog that that they're turning as it speaks. But here's the parts that I really wanted to share that just blew my mind. I looked at a couple of their closed properties within the last couple of weeks from Opendoor. They acquired a house on Crossbow that's in Chandler, sold in 4 days. They paid a co-broke of 2.25%. They bought the house for they bought the house for $282,400, sold it for $325,000. That's
not including any of their.
That's not including their
fees.
service fee, their inspection negotiation, none of that. So you want to talk about killing it? That's killing it. Like that's borderline like you're
Probably made 40, 50 grand off.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's major flip. That's not a production flip. That's a major flip.
Guys, that's so sad. We all need to
4 days.
Educate our clientele.
4 days.
Educate everybody that we know. And that's one of the amazing things about Zoodealio is you have this great software that allows you to compete with Opendoor, allows your seller to see all of their options in a side-by-side comparison.
Yep.
So they can see that they're leaving so much money on the table. That makes me sick, like literally sick to my stomach.
Well, and there's just even immediate solutions, right, that we're going to be offering on top of that. So for the person that doesn't want to go through the hassle of putting their house on the market, right, we're still going to be getting back their equity in that circumstance. So if they want that instant sale, we have that solution too. And of course, that's all leveraged through you guys, the agents out there. So go ahead, Jay.
Oh, I was just gonna say we're wrapping up. Or is it 2 minutes, right?
Our 2-minute warning.
Yeah,
Our
2 minute
warning.
warning. 2 minute warning in 2 minutes.
I think this is pertinent for our viewers. So I want to share one from Zillow too, because this is important. So Zillow is definitely making waves. They currently have 775 closed transactions year to date, so far substantially less. However, they've gained momentum in the fact that they have 111 under contract right now, and they have 81 closed this month. So they jumped back in faster, and they are definitely picking up speed. Case study on one of their particular properties. They paid the property was on the market for 3 days. House in Chandler, 2.25% co-broke. Picked up the property for $285,000, sold it for $305,000. But what do we all know about Zillow? Their fees are higher.
And
So-
our inspection.
Yep.
7 to 9%
Yep.
on top.
Not
Right.
always, but
In most cases.
statistically, I would say yes. But
So again-
we've seen 4.
Are they now doing
They're killing it.
2.25 now? They're going to 2.25 now.
That's
So
what I said.
iBuyers co-broke on buyers commission.
2.25%. And we all know that again, the service fee is going to include it. Their minimum factoring that 6%.
2.25, huh?
How does a buyer's agent feel about these lowered co-brokes when it's harder to represent buyers right now?
Yeah, it's 115 degrees
Got to
outside.
show more
They gotta-
houses, write more contracts.
Right.
Work your ass off to take a haircut.
Have sometimes emotional conversations with your client. They get really emotional when they
yeah.
keep losing on properties, and it sucks for everybody
Yeah.
involved.
You got to change your
does.
shirt 3 times during the day.
Yeah.
Well, so make sure you're getting buyer brokers, guys, because your buyers will pay for good representation, and you don't want to be left with 2.25%.
Yeah, and any one of you agents out there that's listening to this and want to share that experience with us that you feel is relevant to this topic, please hit us up to do that. Definitely like, subscribe, and give us some feedback on what you think. Let us know what you think about our podcast and how we are doing. We look forward to it.
Signing off. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Yeah. Thanks
All
for
right,
tuning
guys.
in. Until next time.
Peace out.
We truly appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today on the iBuyer Experiment podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe so that you're notified when we launch new podcasts. We'll catch you on the next one.